How do you overcome social anxiety? This is a tough one. And I think a lot of people deal with social anxiety these days. I used to deal with such bad anxiety. Like, I literally couldn't leave my house. I had agoraphobia, which means literally a fear of leaving the house. If I tried to leave the house, I'd start throwing up, shaking, uh, get this like tunnel vision where I felt like I was going to pass out and I would have really bad panic attacks. It was horrible. So, the things I did to get over that were, the first thing I did was I read a book called Dare. And it's on my bookshelf somewhere. Yeah, back here somewhere. Dare. I don't know if you can see it. My head's in the way. Right there. It's that white book. It completely changed my life. I tried meditation, I tried medication, I tried exercise, I tried therapy. I tried every single thing I could to try and get over anxiety, like literally everything. And the things that really helped me were, number one, in that book, it says it teaches you how to overcome the chaotic thinking. So, you know how when you're feeling anxious, your mind sort of starts spiraling and all these weird things will pop up in your head that you haven't really thought of before, or if you have thought of them before, they're crazy, but you know they're crazy, but you still buy into it. For me, it was always, I had this massive fear that I was going to pass out in front of people. I could never get my driver's license because I was so scared that I would get in the car and I would start driving and I would just pass out and cause an accident or something like that. Or I would lose control and drive into oncoming traffic. These sorts of thoughts aren't real, obviously. Like, I'm not going to lose my mind just randomly. But when we're anxious, we think we might, but it's literally impossible. You're not, nothing's just going to take over you and you're just going to veer off. Do you know what I mean? And crash the car. Like, it's not going to happen. You have to learn how to talk to yourself in those situations so that you can calm yourself down and also accept whatever your mind is telling you. So the resistance to anxiety is what makes anxiety worse. Does that make any sense? So me going, oh no, I don't want to feel anxious right now, I can't deal with this, makes the anxiety way worse. Way, way, way worse. So the key to dealing with your anxiety is to invite it in. It's to accept whatever your anxiety says. So for me, a good example is, oh no, I'm going to go for a walk around the block. What if I pass out? Because that was my fear, right? For always, it was, oh my God, I'm going to pass out. And then that's humiliating. What I would say to myself, and what I did say to myself when I was just starting to go for walks around the block just to get out, just to push myself and try and do a little bit of exposure therapy, all I would do is just say, my brain would go, okay, you're starting to feel anxious, feeling hot in the cheeks, feeling flushed, feel like weak in the legs, you're going to pass out. I would just say to myself in my head, okay, cool, I'll pass out. What's going to happen? If I pass out, either A, I'll wake up and, X amount of minutes later and get up and just continue on. B, somebody will see me and help me. Or C, nothing. Nothing's going to happen. Literally nothing. So what do? I just tell myself that, so what? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing to worry about. You've got nothing to stress about. You've just got to exist. And you've just got to accept all these anxious things. You have to accept the feelings and be able to talk to yourself so that when they arise, you can combat them. But once again, it's not, combat is the wrong word, because that's, to be combative is almost, like to have a tussle between two thoughts. You want to invite it in for a cup of tea or whatever. Oh, here's my old friend anxiety, come on in. Yeah. And treat anxiety like it's a little kid wearing a scary costume or something that's trying to scare you. It's like a little 6-year-old kid and they're wearing like a big dinosaur outfit and they're like, "Ah, I'm scaring you," and you're just like, "Oh yeah, you're really scary. You're really scary, anxiety." But number one thing I would say is definitely read this book. Definitely read Dare by Barry McDonough. I read that book about 40 times, just on repeat. It's the only thing I listened to for probably 2 months. Like that's what I do. I like to repeat things over and over and over and over again to myself, so that I almost brainwash myself. Because you get like 10%. You read a book and you'll get like 10% of the information. It'll be 400 pages, and you only get 10% of it. But I feel like if you read it again, then you might get another 5 or 10% out of it. And again, the same until you keep reading it and keep reading it and keep reading it. And you'll get so much more out of it. It's so weird. I've listened to Can't Hurt Me. I prefer to do audiobooks than read books visually, but I do have a lot of books visually. I have listened to David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me, no joke, probably 60 or 70 times. Like, that's no joke. It's by far the book I've read the most. And I was listening to it the other week, and there was a part in it that I didn't even remember at all after like that many listens. And I'm like, wow, is this like, how did I miss this whole part? How did I miss this? To me, it's just amazing how like you can keep reading something and keep getting so much out of it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I digress. Let's have a look. What do we got? Question number 2. Why do men feel so lost right now? I think that the world is designed for women at the moment, specifically because women were so like pushed down for such a long period of time that the pendulum had to swing. Instead of going to the middle to make it, let's say the pendulum was here, this is men, this is women, and it was, the world was very built for men to succeed. In order for women to be able to succeed, instead of the pendulum going in the middle, it had to swing all the way across to the other side for women to try and help them so they can get their own careers and feel good about themselves and, not contribute to society, because they're always contributing to society, but to be on the same sort of level playing field as men. However, I think it's gone way too far that way. And now, side note, I don't think a lot of women wanted this to begin with, because I think a lot of them wanted to be, stay-at-home moms. And now, because there's so many more people in the workplace, i.e. women as well as men, now wages have gone down so much that you can't really, unless you have one person that has like a really high paying job, it's not like the 50s and 60s where the male would go out and get the job and the female would be able to stay at home and look after the kids, and they'd have more than enough money to buy a house, feed everyone comfortably, go on trips, all that sort of stuff. Like, it's just not possible these days. That was a side note. I digress from what we were talking about. But yeah, I think the pendulum has swung so far in the other direction that, yeah, women are, specifically social media, I would say, is like very much almost targeting women to hate men. I don't know if you've thought of this recently, but there's like the three, was it the 3 6s is kind of like a rule. Don't date a guy unless he's 6 foot 6 inches and 6 figures. So that's pretty insane to have that as your prerequisite to date someone, purely for the fact that who is 6 foot? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's not, like, I'm 6'3", right? And people say to me all the time, like, you're so tall. Like, bro, to me, I don't think I'm tall. But I'm always like, wow, there's a lot more taller people than me out there. But that just goes to show that, on average, most of my friends are about 5'7", 5'8". Most of my male friends. I don't know a lot of guys that are over 6 foot. It's not to say that we're a rare breed, but I just, on average, most people are under 6 foot, I would say. So that's already made the dating pool so much smaller. Now, add on to that six figures. Dude, I don't earn that. I don't know anyone that earns that. that, like, that I know personally, apart from, like older people, but anybody my age, I don't know anybody that earns that. And 6 inches, well, I mean, I think that's pretty much the standard, isn't it? Like, so that's fine. But those three things, like you've gone from having, say, 100% of men that you can date to maybe 1%, 2% that maybe fit into those three categories that hit all the marks. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like women are they're very much pushed against men. They're very anti men, a lot of women these days, especially on social media. I think it's different when you meet people in person. People have a different persona online, or maybe they're just their truer selves online. I don't know. That's maybe a topic for another time. I'm not sure. But I think why men feel so lost right now is a combination of women pushing them away, society pushing them away, especially, like white men. If you're a white male, you're basically the equivalent of a piece of dog shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, so many people are like, oh, you don't get to have an opinion. You don't get to have this. You don't get to have that. And also, I don't think there's enough male camaraderie in our society anymore. For all of history, men would do apprenticeships, for an example. When they were young, if they wanted to become a blacksmith, they would go apprenticeship with the blacksmith. Or they'd hang out with their dad or the farmer and learn from the farmer, learn from their dad, learn from other men. Or you go back even further in history, hunting parties. Men would congregate together and go and do these, big hunts together as a group. Men are naturally like quite competitive with each other. I don't know about you, but I play a game of Uno with my girlfriend, fiance, recently become a fiance. And it becomes the most competitive thing in my life. I'll go and play basketball with one of my friends or something, and he'll beat me. And then all that'll be going through my head is, I need to come out here every single day and practice as much as I can to become the best basketball player. So if we ever meet up again like this and play basketball, I absolutely destroy him because I have to be the best. I might just be cooked in the head, but that's how I am with everything. I'm the same with sparring. I go to boxing, and if I spar and I get absolutely destroyed, I'm like, okay, I'm practicing every single day now for 2 hours, and until I spar this guy again, and I dominate him. But there's not a lot of men activities, so also men are kind of pushed towards gaming. And as somebody that was a full-time gamer, actually, I was a full-time streamer for 5 years, 6 years. That little award up there was from my gaming days. And, men are pushed towards gaming because it satisfies your competitiveness. It satisfies your little goals, your little dopamine hits you get from completing goals. Like it takes 10,000 hours to become good at something outside of gaming. But in gaming, it take maybe 100 hours. So we're sort of pushed into this, play these games. This will, and you get all your achievement and stuff in this like virtual world. And I think on top of that, there's no like big wars. I mean, obviously there's like wars going on, but there used to be like, I think it's like 200 years of recorded history has been war free. Whereas, wars these days, and I'm not pro-war by any means, I'm just using this as an example. Wars these days are all done with like drones and missiles and all that sort of stuff. Back in the day, it was just, like a whole bunch of guys, yeah, okay, cool, and send them out to go into battle. I feel like that doesn't feel like there's a reason. That's why I think combat sports, you see my little gloves up there, I think that is one of the best things guys can do, especially if you are feeling lost right now. I've done a year of Muay Thai, and I hurt my back about 6 months ago, so I had to stop. I hurt it pretty bad, but I've just started getting back into it, and I'm doing boxing because for some reason kicking with Muay Thai is still like hurting my back. So I've gone and joined up with a different place, just started off doing some boxing. And dude, even just like, I didn't even realize within that 6 months of not doing it, and then my first time back in a fight gym, oh my god! As on my drive home, I was saying to myself, I have missed this. This is what I've been missing. This is what I needed in my life. I didn't even know I was missing it for 6 months. I mean, obviously knew I was missing it, but I didn't realize how much of my whole being like craved that male bonding that men do, you know? So I would say it's a combination of lots of things as to why men feel so lost right now. Um, and yeah, hopefully, I mean, I think it's going to get worse, but hopefully it gets better. Hopefully people start addressing it. I think people are starting to take it a little bit less jokingly than they were before. But yeah, still, it's so much stigma around it. And it's just like, men need help too. Everyone needs help. Why why make people feel bad, or why laugh at them if they need help? I don't know. To me, that just seems dumb. Question number 3. Why do people know exactly what they should do, but still never do it? Damn, that's a good question. Why do people know exactly what they should do, but still never do it? Fear, I would say. Probably a combination of fear and laziness. For me, great example. I put off doing this podcast because I was fearful that I wouldn't be good at it, or that I wouldn't be anywhere near as good at it as, you know, Joe Rogan or Stephen Bartlett or Chris Williamson or anything like that. But I just had to say to myself, well, duh, of course you're not going to be good as them. They've got thousands, you know, they've got 1,000+ episodes each under their belts, and this is going to be your first one recording it. So you got to not compare yourself to them. You got to compare yourself to you of yesterday, and you of yesterday didn't record a podcast. So that means me of today is better than me of yesterday, right? But yeah, the fear is one of the things, and yeah, procrastination. You know, we're not very optimistic as people. The people that have survived the longest, the people that survived back in the day, our ancestors, were probably the more pessimistic people. I better not go drink at that watering hole. What if there's an alligator? I don't know if alligators or crocodiles are the ones that are going to be at the watering hole. I actually don't know the difference. I think one is salt water and one's regular water. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, at the watering hole. And then that person survives, whereas the person that's optimistic, oh, there's no alligators going to be at this watering hole, gets eaten by the alligator. So I think naturally we are pushed in a pessimistic, well, our genes are more pessimistic than optimistic, I would say. So because we're more pessimistic, I think we sort of lean more on the, oh, I can't be bothered to do that, I'll do that later. Or I'll let all these different things and excuses pop up for why I can't be bothered to do that, or why I don't want to do that particular thing. Let's use the gym, for example. You know you need to go to the gym, but you still never go. Well, you can come up with a million different examples as to why you don't want to go to the gym, but there's only really one reason that you do want to go. And people just let fear, oh, I don't want, you know, people think I look like an idiot at the gym. It's my first time. I don't know how to use the bench press properly. I don't have a spotter. It's just easier to postpone it. Plus, you know, phones these days, dude, the biggest distraction of all time. Like, you can just sit there and just scroll, and I'm sure it's happened to you. It's happened to me a million times where I'll be, oh, I just got to check this Instagram notification. And then I look up an hour later and I've just been scrolling through Instagram, like just so distracted, to the point where about 4 or 5 days ago, I actually deleted all social media apps off my phone so I can only use it on my computer. And guess what? I haven't watched any short form content in 4 or 5 days. And oh my God, my brain feels amazing. I highly recommend it. I really, really, really recommend it. But that's what I would say why People know exactly what they should do, but they never do it. It's just fear and laziness. It's as simple as that. And once you get into a routine of something, then it's easier, you know? That first morning of going to the gym, oh, it sucks. You're like, oh, or maybe you're motivated and you're really excited. Like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym. Sick. Second day, maybe not so much. Third day, maybe not so much. After 2 weeks, a month of going to the gym every morning, you just get used to it. I get up and I go straight to my gym. I go straight to my home gym that I've got every morning. It's like, I don't even think about it because I've been doing it for like a year and a half, 2 years every day. And I just know, yes, this is my routine. Oh, this question leads very well into question 4. Is social media making us mentally weaker? Absolutely. I think in a lot of different ways. I think a lot of content currently is designed to rage bait people. So if you are easily rage baited, you're probably more likely to go on a tangent and start, you know, aggressively commenting in the comments and having a back and forth with another person who might not even be a person, might even just be a bot. Who knows? And you know, that's making you weaker. All the dopamine, like not being able to get off the phone. Have you ever had that where you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or something and you need to piss, and so you go to the toilet and you're still scrolling while you're pissing? Have you ever done that? I've done it so many times, and I like can't get rid of my phone. I can't. I put it on the toilet paper handle thing next to me and just watch reels while I'm pissing. I'm like, I think it makes us so much mentally weaker. I think also people being able to hide behind, usernames, I think is making people weaker because they don't have any accountability. You know, before social media, you couldn't just go up to, I don't know, John Jones, for example, go up to John Jones and just be like, hey, you're an idiot. I think you're a dork and everyone hates you. And look at all the bad stuff you've done. Like, you're an idiot. Like, he'd smack you, right? But so many people can do that online to him and it makes them feel good. Oh, yeah, I got the champ. I got the champ to like message me back. Oh, wow. He hates me. He blocked me. Like, I got under his skin. You know, like, bro, stop being so fucking lame. Like, that's so gay, dude. Like, why? Just be a normal person. Um, yeah, I think my hot take is it would be great if people actually had to use their proper names for social media. Like every single person had to use their name. I think that would be absolutely insane. The only problem is it would stop a lot of whistleblowers, and we do need that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I think it'd be a great experiment. I think you'd see way less shit posting, like way less. But yeah, all in all, it's definitely making us weaker. I think we're just going to keep getting worse and worse. Eventually, we're going to end up like that movie Idiocracy, where like they've got the toilet chair that reclines, and they've got the million channels, and they're all just like and like Gatorade as their water source. It's going to happen to us, unfortunately. But if you listen to this podcast, then maybe not. We'll see how we go. All right, question number 5. Why are people terrified of being alone with their thoughts? I think that people are terrified of being left alone with their thoughts because they haven't learned how to control their brains. You know, it almost comes back to like the social media stuff, where every spare minute that you have, you're on social media. That's what I've realized recently from not having the apps on my phone. You know, I'm cooking lunch or cooking dinner or whatever, and instead of having a video playing in the background, or just quickly like, oh, I'm just going to get my phone out when there's like a lull in time, I have to just sit there with myself and my thoughts. And I'm just like, luckily I've done like a lot of stuff, a lot of work on myself. I've read hundreds of personal development books, and I've done a lot of meditation, and done so much stuff to get myself from being legitimately the weakest person to ever exist to now, which is, I would say, just a reasonably normally functioning human. um, But yeah, I did used to be like, oh my God, I couldn't be with my thoughts at all. I would stay up all night. Uh, my mind would control me. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. I would, when I would try and go to sleep, I would have the most insane thoughts. When it's dark, all those thoughts that you've put off all start like seeping in. Every single mistake you've ever made, every single change you would have made in your life, like just manifests and festers in your late night thoughts. But I think there's a few ways to combat it for sure. One of the things that really helped me, and I actually got it from that Dare book as well, was whenever I have a lull in time, I just say to myself, I love myself, I believe in myself. I say that constantly, constantly. And I've been doing that for over a year now. And the amount of progress I see in the love for myself over time has been exponential. So that is something that I can definitely recommend. Instead of just going straight to your phone, definitely try deleting those apps off your phone and just getting used to being alone with your thoughts. Because at the end of the day, like your brain's not going to hurt you. You've got to learn how to have uncomfortable conversations with yourself. You've got to learn how to deal with your brain because it's your brain. It's your brain. You own it. You need to have control over it. It's like having a dog. Do you want to have like some unruly, crazy dog that makes your life miserable? Or are you going to sit down, spend the time, and train the dog so that you're happy and you're not in a uncomfortable relationship with this being that you live with? So I completely get why people are terrified of being alone with their thoughts because I used to be that person. I used to be suicidal. I hated myself. Like I said, I thought I was the weakest guy ever. And I genuinely didn't want to exist. I used to say to my dad, why did you even bother having me? I didn't ask to be born. So why would you even like, why would you need to support me because I didn't ask for this life? Can you imagine being so ungrateful? Speaking to your dad like that. That was me. I was so ungrateful. I didn't have any concept at all of self-love. I was all self-loathing, sarcasm, hatred of myself and my situation and the people around me. I was on welfare because I couldn't get a job. Um, the only good thing I had in my life was my girlfriend. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. I'm not used to talking this long. Passion fruit soda stream. It's goaded. Uh, so yeah, I totally get why people are terrified of being alone with their thoughts, but there's definitely ways to overcome that. As somebody that has overcome it, dude, if I can do it, fuck man, anyone can do it. I'm telling you. Seriously, I was the most useless guy in the world. Legitimately, the most useless. Um, and yeah, I really hope that I can pass on any sort of information or any. I wanted to start this podcast to one, hopefully help other people that are going through these things that I've gone through. And two, also, I'm obsessed with this shit. Like, I love personal development. It's changed my life and I'm genuinely obsessed with it. And if I can find other people to communicate with that are also obsessed with it, that would be sick. So, this is my outlet for myself to just put out content about the stuff that I'm really interested in and see what the world thinks. But hopefully, I will have some people to talk to about this stuff because, yeah, I just love it. I love it so much. And all these questions, I got the first one. I actually asked a few questions on Reddit of people in the anxiety subreddit. Oh, excuse me. You're gonna have to get used to a lot of burps from me as well, by the way. I'm a gassy boy. But yeah, so and I only got a few responses. So some of these questions are the questions that people on Reddit told me to ask myself, and then a few are just AI generated of along the same sort of thought pattern of what the real ones that were asked. So, what actually builds self confidence is question number 6. What actually builds self confidence? I would say that what actually builds self confidence is staying true to your word to yourself. So if you say to yourself, I'm going to go for a 5K run after work today, and you don't go for that 5K run, you're eroding your own self confidence. But if you do go for the 5K run, you're building a block. And the more you do what you're going to say, i.e., me today, I happened to have the day off work today. And I was ready to record my podcast first thing in the morning. I get up at 5:30 and go to the gym. And then after that, I had my breakfast and came in ready to record. And my PC was broken. So I got my old PC out and it took me far out. What's the time now? It's 3:20 in the afternoon. So it took me all day to fix up this old computer just to get it to the point where I can record so I could do this podcast. Like that built self-confidence in myself because I knew if I didn't do the podcast today, and I told myself I was going to record one, then I'd feel shit about myself and my self-confidence would start to erode. So challenging yourself is another big one with self-confidence. Putting yourself in situations that you don't think you can deal with and actually being able to get through those situations means that you have a new base level of what you can deal with, right? So if you don't think you can go to a boxing gym, for example, this is where your mentality is. You don't think you can do it. But let's say you actually do it. Then that becomes, this is going to the boxing gym. Then this becomes your new level, right? Then let's say you're at the boxing gym for a while. You're like, man, I could never spar. There's no way I'd ever spar. Sparring is up here, okay? But you actually do the sparring, you push yourself and you do it. Then this is your new baseline. But if you go, oh, I'm going to go to boxing training tomorrow. Again, I had so much fun here. And then tomorrow comes and you don't go, then you take a big step down again. Do you know what I mean? I feel like your confidence is constantly going up and down, up and down, up and down. And you just got to do what you say you're going to do. And you've got to put yourself in awkward situations. Maybe not awkward, but situations that will push you mentally. That doesn't mean if you're terrified of heights, the first thing you do is go jump out of a plane, because that's down here and jumping out of a plane's like way up. I wouldn't jump out of a plane, dude. Fuck that. But yeah, like you want to just do baby steps. Maybe you want to work your way up to jumping out of a plane. Maybe you get a trampoline to start with. Do you know what I mean? And start working your way up from there. That's the sort of stuff that builds self-confidence. And also just a little bit of exercise. A little bit of exercise every week will absolutely change the way you look at yourself. It doesn't mean that you need to get buff like Ronnie Coleman or Chris Bumstead or something, or get absolutely shredded like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. But just a little bit of exercise for yourself will do wonders. All the endorphins, all that sort of stuff, dude. You'll love it. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Oh, that leads into this next one. Can fitness genuinely change your life? Absolutely. Absolutely. Fitness has changed my life in so many different ways. It's helped with confidence. It's helped with body confidence. It's helped with confidence in so many different ways. Confidence in knowing that I can lift things other people can't. I was at my fiance. I keep saying fiance because we just got engaged. I was at my fiance's mum's house, and her and I were we're having dinner there, and her stepdad was like, I've got this big pot. It'd probably take 2 of us to lift it, Jackson. Like it's pretty heavy. And my fiance was like, I don't know, you should let him try and see if he can lift it by himself. And he was like, oh, no, there's no way you can lift it. There's no way. And I was like, just give me a try anyway. Why not? I lifted it and I carried it all the way down the driveway by myself and chucked it in my car. I didn't chuck it because otherwise it would have broke. But I placed it gently, put a little seatbelt around it. It was this big, heavy thing. And he was just like, whoa. I could see he just wasn't expecting me to be able to do that. And that like feels good. Feels good when you're a lot stronger than people expect you to be. Feels good knowing that you can run 5 to 10 Ks and not be absolutely fucked at the end of it. You know, not just be absolutely cooked, but still be okay. Feels good to be able to do an hour-long boxing session and be able to drive home and not be like out of breath at the end of it. You know, fitness can really, really change your life. You probably don't even realize how little exercise the ordinary person gets as well. Like, you think about it. They get up in the morning, they definitely don't stretch. We're just talking like an average person, right? They don't stretch, they don't work out. They probably have a big bowl of like rice bubbles or Nutri-Grain or Cocoa Pops or something like that for breakfast, or some toast with some jam, and get in their car, drive to work, sit at a desk all day with 3 breaks, which are all probably spent scrolling on their phones and eating food, eating chocolates out of the vending machine, or M&Ms and so much crap. And then jump back in the car, drive home, cook dinner, sit down on the couch, eat dinner, watch 3-4 hours of TV or 3-4 hours of Netflix or whatever, and then go to bed. How many steps do you reckon they've taken for the day? Like 2,000 maybe? 3,000 maybe? 4,000 would be pushing it, I would think. But like, that's how little exercise a lot of people get. And you know, you don't use it, you lose it. Your body's going to fall apart. One of the greatest examples of that for me is my granddad. He's 84 this year and he still works out every day. He is the strongest man I ever met. And that's because he worked out 5 days a week, never missed a day. When he was on holiday, he'd go on a cruise ship and they wouldn't have a gym on board. So he would just throw all these heavy things he could find in a backpack, and then he would just ruck. He would ruck on a boat on these big cruise ships. And he would just walk for like 4 hours. Like, insane. But he's so healthy up until now. You know, age catches everyone. But even at 84, he's so much healthier. He's so much more mobile than anybody else I know of that age. Not that I know a lot of people in their 80s, but do you know what I mean? Like, fitness can just change everything. I really believe that. And I think it is definitely one of the most important things to focus on. And the easiest way to, if I'm speaking to someone right now that doesn't have an interest in fitness, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't just have to go and lift weights. That's not what I mean by fitness. If you like basketball, go play basketball. If you like netball, if you like lawn bowls, tennis, belly dancing, pole dancing, the list of things you can do is endless. You've just got to find that one thing. For me, I hated fitness my whole life. And then I started boxing at home and I became obsessed with it. And that's actually how I quit smoking. I used to be a pack and a half, 2 packs a day smoker for like 15 years. And I quit smoking because I wanted to be able to skip for longer. So I was only able to skip for an hour straight. And I wanted to be able to skip for longer before my lungs gave out. So I quit smoking just so that I could be better at my chosen sport, which was boxing. So you just got to find that thing that you really love. Because yeah, it'll change your life. It changed my life so much. So much. All right, question number 8. Why does modern life make people feel empty? Lack of friction. Lack of friction for sure. Lack of challenge. You know, our modern lives are full of creature comforts. You know, your bed's comfy, your food's tasty, your room is at the right temperature that you like it, whether it's hot or cold. Your shoes are comfortable. This beanie's comfortable. I'm wearing a lot of clothes right now because it's bloody cold in Australia. Um, yeah, like everything is so comfortable. There's no friction outside of your job. There's you probably don't have a lot of friction, and I think it's important. I think people are designed biologically to crave some sort of challenge. Because if we weren't, our species wouldn't have survived. Our species wouldn't have survived at all because we wouldn't have gone out and hunted or gathered food or uh, tried to invent things, or do you know what I mean? Like we would have died off in the first generation. But I think we're biologically designed to have challenges, and modern life has hijacked our attention so that we don't have that feeling. Our challenge is just more dopamine, more scrolling, more eating, more getting good feelings out of buying stuff. How many times have you bought something? You're like, oh, I can't wait to get this thing. You buy it, it comes from Amazon. You're like, yes, this is the best thing of all time. I'm so happy. And a week later, you don't even give a shit about it. It's happened to me a lot of times. So I think that's why modern life makes people feel empty, because we are kind of are empty, and we need to fashion our own friction in life. That's why combat sports. You're gonna hear me if you stick around this channel. You're gonna hear me talking a lot about combat sports because it's just so good. It's so good for you. Um, like starting a new skill that you suck at. Everyone sucks at the skills, at brand new skills, right? Nobody just is born a fantastic artist or a top of the pops harp player. I don't know if there's a harp player that's at the top of the pops, but you know what I'm saying, right? So you need to find an activity that you enjoy. That's the main thing. You got to enjoy it. You don't have to be good at it. You just got to enjoy it and start doing that. And you'll get friction through that. Whether it's learning how to play guitar, the friction is, wow, I suck at this and it really hurts my fingers. Or learning how to sew, which is kind of the same. I suck at this and damn, I keep hurting my fingers. So that's why I'd say modern life feels empty. Uh, and question number 9 is, why are so many people addicted to comfort? And I would say pretty much the same as question 8, I guess. It's like, why are so many people addicted to comfort? Because it's easy. It's easy. Our brains are designed to take the path of least resistance when we can, because of those pessimistic ancestors that we had. And comfort is just easy. Who doesn't want to be comfortable? I don't want to sleep in an uncomfortable bed. I don't want to sit in a room that's freezing cold. I want to be in a warm bed. I want to be in a warm room, and I want to be in a comfy bed. I think we're addicted to the comfort because it's easy, and modern life tells us that being comfortable is the best thing we can do. But why is it that the things we get the most joy out of are the things that are the most friction in our lives? Running a marathon, getting to the end of that marathon, dude, you're going to feel amazing, absolutely incredible. Going to the boxing gym and sparring for the first time, you're going to feel amazing for doing it. Yeah, I feel like we're addicted to this fake comfort, when we should really be addicted to the hard stuff, in my opinion, anyway. How do you rebuild confidence after losing it? That's a hard one, because I think once you've lost your confidence, I think it kind of sticks with you forever. But I think that's a good thing, because it makes you more humble. It makes you more like battle worn. You think about like an 18-year-old who's like young, dumb, and full of cum, right? And he's the most confident guy in the world. And then he has that first heartbreak, or he has that first time he gets beaten up in front of people. He's out at the club and he gets beaten up in front of people, or whatever it is to lose his confidence. He's never going to get back to that same level of confidence he had before it was gone, but it's almost like an ascended version, because he knows that he could go back. He knows that he can lose this confidence that he's got. But he's battle worn, and if he does, he knows how to get his way back to where it is now. Does that make sense? But the best way to rebuild yourself when you have lost your confidence is to start from scratch and build. You got to try and look at yourself like a brick wall, right? The bottom is the foundation. So you do that with discipline, with friction, with going to the gym, waking up early, uh, working extra hard at your job, whatever things you can get the friction out of in your life, you focus on those things, and that friction and overcoming that friction becomes that base of your wall. And then you can start stacking things on top of it, but you want to have the most solid base possible. And that's how you rebuild it. You rebuild your confidence by doing the things like we spoke about earlier, by doing the things that scare you, by doing the things that put you out of your comfort zone. And you build 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 and you just keep going. You know exactly whatever whatever the whatever the reason that you've lost your confidence is, you know how to get it back. I don't know how to get it back for you. I might, but everyone is different. But you know deep inside what you need to do. You know, if you got beaten up in front of a bunch of people, you need to go to an MMA gym. You need to go to a boxing gym. You need to go do jiu-jitsu. You need to do something that makes you feel confident in that area. Can a relationship save somebody? Yes, I think so. It did for me. Without my partner, without my fiance, mate, I'd be fucking dead in a ditch somewhere. I used to be. I'm going to be so real on this pod, by the way. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to start this as well. It's just so I can just be. I think there's a lot of power in being vulnerable with people. And I think there's a lot of things that other people can learn from you telling the stuff that's happened in your life. So, yeah, for me, I used to be a drug addict. I was a drug dealer. I almost went to jail. But I was a drug addict. I was addicted to meth for a long time. From when I was like 18, 19 until I was like 21. I would take, ecstasy every weekend, 5 nights a week. And then I got into meth and coke and all that sort of stuff, all those uppers. And then after I got arrested, almost went to jail, I just became obsessed with weed, and I just smoked that for like 10 years, every day, all day, every day. Wake up in the middle of the night, have like 3 bongs to go back to sleep. And a cigarette. Crazy to think of. And when I was about 23, I met this girl on Tinder. This was 10 years ago. And we hit it off. And look, I was great for when we first started dating, but then my front of being like this well put together guy just crumbled apart, and I just became this just this absolute useless loose unit, and who couldn't leave my house, couldn't do anything, blaming everybody for all my issues, wanting to be saved by other people. Like, I wanted other people to fix all my problems, and I didn't understand. I was like, well, my dad's got money, why can't he just pay for me to just exist? Like, why do I have to work? Like, that's so dumb. Like, he brought me into this world. I didn't want to be brought into this world. He needs to look after me. Just the worst poopy pants attitude of anyone you would have ever met. And if it wasn't for the relationship that I had with my girlfriend at the time, I probably would have fucking killed myself, to be honest. And then she started having some pretty bad mental health problems, and that actually made me step up. And I was like, wow, I actually really love this person. This is like 5 years into our relationship, mind you. And I was like, yeah, I really, really care for this person. I need to start stepping up, and I need to start doing something to be able to help her, because we both can't be like this. We're both like this. We're cooked. We're, life over. So I would say my love for her probably saved me, because if I didn't have her, I wouldn't have read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I don't think. But I guess you never know, because you know, I'm not tapped into that reality of if that happens. So I'm not sure. But I would definitely say a relationship can save somebody. Even if it wasn't for my girlfriend at the time, a relationship with David Goggins, for example. He's doesn't know that we have a relationship, but but I started following all of his stuff. I read his book, and I was like, oh my god, this guy gets it. He knows what it's like to hate yourself so much. He knows what it's like to be the weakest person ever and to get through it. And I was just in awe of this guy, and I still am to this day, of everything he's gone through, and all the things he puts his body through is just incredible. So yeah, I definitely think a relationship can save somebody. Um, and I think it could be a relationship with somebody that doesn't even know that you're in a relationship with them. Like I said, like David Goggins. Um, yeah. All right, number 12. What makes a man dangerous in a healthy way? A healthy way. I think somebody that has a switch they can flick on and off. We're always told that like masculine men are these like macho, like grumpy, maybe not grumpy, but like loud, obnoxious, arrogant men. I don't think that's aggressive men. I don't think that's the case. I think a real masculine guy is somebody that can be themselves when they're around people they care about or around new people, but also have that flick where if something does go wrong, that's the guy that you look to, and he's going to sort you out. That's what I've always tried to build myself towards. If there was an apocalypse, number one, I'd be absolutely useless when it comes to all the handyman stuff. My brain is not wired to be mechanical. I don't understand how a lot of stuff goes together. But I can tell you, when it comes to making sure everyone's okay, getting everybody on board with a plan, listening to people constructively, and also making group decisions, mate, I'd be all over that. That's the kind of person I've always tried to build myself towards. Um, but yeah, you need to be dangerous in a healthy way is that subtle, calm confidence that no matter what goes on, you're going to be okay. And you're going to make sure that everyone around you is okay. And I think everyone that wants to be dangerous in a healthy way needs to obviously learn how to defend themselves and the people around them. So I would say, as hear me say a lot, combat sports, so important. So important. And but also working on yourself, making sure that you don't get I don't yell. Nobody gets under my skin. Yeah, I used to be a very reactive person. Um, my family sort of like leaves bait out for each other. People take the bait, they'll say something, and you go, oh, you take the bait and go, well, I'm not like that. That's not what I said. But now, after, God, I don't even know. I think when I checked my Audible listening time the other day, I was like a month and 7 days of listening to audiobooks. I don't even know how many hours that is. It's a lot though. Like it's taken me a long, long, long time of listening to a lot of people that are so much smarter than me, to put myself in a position where I can not react to stuff and where I can always remain calm and confident and relaxed in any situation. And I think that's the kind of man you want to be. That's the kind of man that I think is being dangerous in a healthy way. That's what I've tried to achieve, and I feel like I've definitely achieved it with, yeah. I can't think of a situation that I've been in the last year or so where I haven't been in control. Um, not always in control of the situation, because you can't always, but I've been at the bare minimum in control of myself and how I react. So that is what I would say. But that's my first episode of the Long Game podcast, where we talk about modern life, fitness, mindset, and becoming better over time. So I appreciate you listening all the way through. I'm going to have a lot of videos coming out. So if you want to support, subscribe, follow me on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And yeah, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. If you have any questions you want to ask me or anything that you want me to talk about, please leave them in the comments. It helps out a whole lot. If you have any guests or anyone that you think I should try and reach out to, let me know. Obviously, like I said, this is the first episode, so I just thought I'd do something that sort of introduces me a little bit and can show you guys a little bit about how I operate and what I care about and what I think about certain topics. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.